This is Max Pat's podcast, and today I'm going to be breaking down the Patriots' 2014 schedule. Now, it's probably something I should do after the draft, because a lot of the teams on the Patriots' schedule don't even have their starting quarterback yet. But I'm going to do it now anyway, because a lot of people like to give you their thoughts on the schedule when it first comes out. So that's what I'm doing. So anyways, I'll start with the Patriots record. And I think they will definitely finish somewhere between 14-2 and 16-0. And I'll lean more towards the 16-0. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's really how I feel based on the schedule. And when a lot of these games are played, some of their toughest games are later in the year when they're usually playing well. And they had so many bad breaks last year. The team was completely riddled with injuries. And they had a lot of bad breaks, especially on the road with refs. And you got to think that on the luck side of things, I think this team is better than last year's team anyway. The better defense, Revis, Browner, and the offense pretty much stand pat, maybe get a little better if Amendola develops a chemistry with Brady. But the offense will either stay the same or get better, and the defense is going to get a lot better because they're going to have all their starters back healthy. Mayo, Wilfork, although I don't know how healthy Wilfork will be, but either way. And the addition of Browner and Revis, and still have Dennard, and still have Arrington, I think it's a much better team than last year. And last year's team was so good that even with all the bad luck in the world, they went 14-2. So you take, 12-4, sorry. 12-4. So you take a 12-4 team, won't be as unlucky, and is more talented. So, when the schedule first came out, I heard a lot of people predict 14-2. 12-4. 12-4 for the Patriots, and I just think it's ridiculous to think that this team would be that bad. Last year's team was 12-4. They were playing with like 5 starters hurt on defense, and they couldn't get a break on the road. They lost to the Jets in New York on a rule that has only been called once in NFL history. At that point, it had never been called, and since then, it's never been called. And what happened in Carolina with the holding in the end zone not getting called. I think all the breaks didn't go their way last year, and so this year they're going to go their way. Plus, it's a better team. But I also see a possibility of 14-2. My official prediction is 16-0. But there's definitely 2 games that are pretty scary and could possibly be losses. I think a couple of these games are going to come down to the end, like a lot of games did last year, and you just see how it finishes. But I'm going to begin the schedule breakdown with Week 1. Sunday, 1 o'clock in Miami. So that will be a hot one. And I think at Miami is a game the Patriots lose a lot. But this year, because it's the opener, that's something the Patriots don't lose a lot, or really ever. And it's because how much importance Bill does. The whole offseason, you hear him talk about where we're just getting ready for Miami. He's already preparing for this game. And yeah, it's going to be hot, but the Patriots are going to be coming right off a training camp. I mean, it won't be as hot in New England even in August as it's going to be in September in Miami, but it's going to be hot. And they're going to be used to playing in the heat. And then, of course, they're a much better team than Miami. I think, at Miami is a game the Patriots lose a lot, but because it's the opener, and because they have from now till then to get ready for it, and because they're going to be coming right off a hot training camp, I definitely think they'll win that game. And next is at Minnesota, Sunday 1 o'clock. That's week 2. Playing in the college stadium. Why Minnesota works on their new dome. But yeah, I think they'll win that game too. I think that, Minnesota is a middling team, and they're in the middle, and they don't have such a great situation at quarterback. Not really sure who their quarterback's going to be. Matt Castle or Ponder, or are they going to draft somebody? I don't know, but any one of those three I wouldn't be so worried about. No offense to Castle, he's a good quarterback, but I'm not going to be concerned about that game. I just don't think they're on the Patriots level. And then next week 3, another 1 o'clock game. The Raiders come into Foxborough. And of course, the Raiders, I think, have a very good chance of getting the first pick in the draft next year. They have a long way to go before they even can put an NFL caliber team on the field. I don't know. Actually, they did make a lot of off-season free agents, but a lot of them are guys old and past their prime that I don't expect much from, like Justin Tuck and Maurice Jones-Drew. Yeah, the names are big there, but you don't. This is not baseball. Like, you don't just sign a bunch of old free agent names and plug people in. You build through continuity, you build through the draft. And yeah, you could throw a free agent in there, but you can't have a team built on free agents. Schaub. This really is like, Schaub is going to be their quarterback. Maurice Jones-Drew is the running back. They have Tuck on defense. It's like they're throwing this team together in free agency. Yeah, they had a lot of money to spend, and they spent it, but it's just not how you win. And I expect the Raiders to be terrible next year. The next game in Arrowhead Stadium, week 4, Monday Night Football. Patriots at Chiefs. The Chiefs are a playoff team. They're the first playoff team on our schedule. And it's a primetime game in their house, and it's a tough stadium to play in, the Sea of Red, and they're going to get pumped up for Monday Night Football. That being said, their quarterback is Alex Smith, and I think they had a great year last year, and I've heard other people say this too, I think they're going to step back this year. They played too far above their head. I think the Chiefs are going to be a much worse team this year. And I don't really give them too much of a chance against us, although it's definitely the hardest game of the first 4. And that'll be the last game the Patriots have to play without Browner, because he'll be on his 4-game suspension. But see Revis match up against Bo. It'll be the first real test for him, in my opinion. He'll be facing a good receiver every week. Dolphins have, Wallace, and Vikings, they have Jennings and Patterson. But I think Bo is the best receiver. First time we get to see Revis match up against one of the best in the game, so that'll be exciting. But anyways, I'll move on. The Bengals, another this game's in Foxborough, I definitely think the Patriots will go undefeated at home this year. So any game at home is just a win, in my opinion. Going undefeated at home is something they've done a lot over the years. And I think, and they usually do it in twos. Like, for example, they went undefeated 8-0 at home in 2003. And then they did it the next year in 2004. So that's back-to-back years. They went undefeated at home in 2009. As bad a year as 2009 was, 10-6. They were still undefeated at home. 8-0. Which means they were 1-7 on the road. They were actually 1-6 on the road because they played in London, a neutral site game. But anyways. And then they did it again the next year in 2010. And so last year they went undefeated at home, and so they like to do it in twos, and I expect them to go undefeated at home this year as well. So, but that, you know, I can give you more analysis than that. I just think, I mean, the Bengals are a really good team, and they're gonna test the Patriots. Well, their offense, they have a great receiver, A.J. Green, and then they have two really good tight ends. And a lot of people think Browner is here because he can cover tight ends, because he's physical, he's big, and so we could have him cover one of their tight ends. You know, they have Gresham and Eifert. And then we have Collins, who's another pretty good tight end defender for the same reasons. Big, you know, he's huge. I mean, he's a linebacker, but a big one. And then he's fast. He has a lot of, he used to play defensive back in college, so, you know, his first few years in college. So he could also, we have a couple of tight end specialists, and I'm looking forward to the Bengals game to see how our defense match up against their offense. Revis on Green, and just see how we handle those tight ends. And I think, you know, that game was close. That was one that we lost last year, but it was in their place. This time it's in ours. So, get another win there. Alright, at Bills. I mean, Bills, I don't expect to lose any games to the Bills this year. I think they'll finish last in the AFC East. Of all the teams in the AFC East, they have the least chance of getting better, in my opinion. The Dolphins and the Jets have shown much more signs of improvement than them, so definitely expect both games against the Bills to be easy wins for the Patriots. Now, Thursday Night Football in Foxborough against the Jets. That's Week 7. And it's at home. Definitely think we'll win this one against the Jets. It's the other Jets game that I'd be more worried about there. But, you know, the Jets have they have a good defense. It's getting better. Obviously, they have a good defensive coach. But on offense, I mean, I don't know who it's going to be, Vic or Smith. And, I mean, it's a pretty bad offense. Chris Johnson, he's through, in my opinion. It's been, how long has it been since he rushed for his 2,000 yard, I mean, his 2,000 yard season. It's been a long time. And since then, I don't even know how many times he's rushed for 1,000 yards. Anyways, the next game after that, another home game against the Bears. I mean, again, the game's at home. I don't think we're going to lose any home games. The Bears are a solid team. They have two good receivers, so we're going to definitely be happy we got so many corners. They have Jeffrey. They have two Pro Bowl receivers last year, not just any time in their career Pro Bowls. Two receivers that were in the Pro Bowl last year. Jeffrey and Marshall. But we have